Welcome to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast, featuring your mother's favorite podcaster, Ook, with Cakes Mitchell, baby.
What is going on, guys? My name is Cakes Mitchell. And
I think they forgot your name.
I don't even think they know your name or how to spell it.
They know. To quote the great Marshawn Lynch, Beast Mode, they know why I'm here.
What's going on, guys? We're headed into week 4 of the preseason. The regular season's almost here, just one more week.
What happened with week 3?
Just mixed up, man.
We were supposed to do it on a Tuesday. You canceled.
I forgot that I had work. So
then we were supposed to do it on another day.
Normally we do them on Mondays, but the game was on Monday.
And you canceled that, yeah.
No, the game was on Monday.
So you've kind of...
And then Tuesday...
You're already going Hollywood, and we're not even 10 episodes deep.
On Tuesday, I forgot that I had to work. On Wednesday, we scheduled to do the podcast, but someone backed out an hour before we were supposed to record.
But I could have done it at the normal time that we do it, though.
On Monday night?
Yeah.
During the game.
No, we do it before the game. We would have done it before the game. We do it Mondays at 5 o'clock.
The game was a Monday night game.
Yeah,
bro.
We would have been done by the time the game started.
No.
Yeah. So anyway,
what would
guys,
be the point of doing a podcast before the game? There's nothing to cover.
Consistency. So Cakes is going Hollywood already, guys. I'm gonna try my best to rein him in. He's big.
Okay.
He's big shotting me now.
All right.
He's canceling episodes, so I'm gonna do my best to rein him in so we can maintain some consistency throughout this program.
I appreciate it. I'm sure the fans do too. That you're holding it down.
Yeah. So good for me, I guess.
Well, what happened on Wednesday? What happened?
Some real life stuff. You know.
Please explain.
I can't. It's
okay.
It's not appropriate.
Well, real life stuff happened to me on Tuesday. That's why I couldn't make it.
But
all right, guys, let's move into the first topic.
You did
today.
it 3 times, though.
3 times? No,
yeah,
let's move into the
times.
first topic today, guys. And this is Jimmy Smith. Since we've been out for a couple of weeks, we need to catch up and talk about everything. And one of those things is the Jimmy Smith suspension. He's out for 4 regular season games because it's not necessarily domestic abuse, like physical abuse, but since it's within that
he
realm,
wasn't swinging no hands,
right? I mean, but the Ravens they're not gonna appeal this simply because for the fact of the whole Ray Rice situation. The Ravens don't want to be looked at the light in the NFL of them trying to get over on domestic violence. So I think we're gonna have him actually sit for the actual 4 games, which sucks because Jimmy Smith is easily our best corner. It's not as bad, in my opinion, as other years because I think Brandon Carr and Marlon Humphrey are starting caliber cornerbacks.
So you're just going.
Going what?
You're just jumping in. You didn't ask me if I want to go first or anything. You're just going.
I mean, I'm Hollywood now, man.
Yeah, okay.
So Jimmy Smith suspended 4 weeks sucks. Our schedule isn't that bad up until week 4 when we play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. So that's going to be the game that hurts us the most. But I don't expect us to win that game anyway. I think the Steelers' offense is pretty insane. And it's Le'Veon Bell's last ride in Pittsburgh. So I think he's going to have a hell of a year trying to get a contract from someone. So I think it sucks. I think we're going to still be all right because I think Marlon Humphrey is going to be able to take the next step this year. And Brandon Carr is a solid cornerback. Nothing crazy ever with Brandon Carr, but it is always a good number 2. So it sucks, but I think we're going to be all right. What do you think?
Hungry. You know? Could use something to eat right now. What about you?
I said, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
What do you think about Jimmy Smith?
Oh, about Jimmy Smith. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder why, or it makes you wonder about how we were looking at some cornerbacks in free agency. Remember that? Wonder if we had a little bit of insight into what was going on with that situation, you know? And,
Yeah.
You know, Ravens might have had some insider info. People accused them of knowing a little bit about the Ray Rice situation before Ray Rice situation came through, and the NFL had to react to that. They had thought the Ravens were being more reactionary rather than proactive. Yeah, so it makes me think a little bit about that, as if we saw that coming through the pipeline as to why we were reaching out to people of the likes of Rashad Breeland and wasn't there one other person we were looking
I don't
at?
remember.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's the only name that I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, it's not a good thing to lose our number one corner for 4 weeks. I think week 1 through 4 is not the easiest either, right? I mean, our schedule in general is hell. Every game for us this year is I mean, I had us going 9-7 when we did our episode when we broke down our schedule.
I think our first 3 weeks are probably the most easiest games that we have. Buffalo at home,
Yeah.
Bengals. I don't remember if that's home or not, and then the Broncos.
Yeah, but they've got Case Keenum now, so I mean that's not going to be any walk in the park, really.
Right, but it's not like we're playing the Eagles or the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, but if we drop one of these games, it's not good. I mean, we're in a like we need every game. Every game counts this year. We can't afford to drop any easy games or anything that we shouldn't lose. You know what I mean? We're in that situation, so. It definitely sucks. Curious as if any reports will come out about the Ravens having knowledge of this prior to the actual suspension being handed out. I think since he didn't put hands on anyone, that it won't get a lot of run through the media. Mm-hmm. I just don't, even though, you know, whether it should or shouldn't, I guess is irrelevant to this discussion. But yeah, it's not good. Not good.
Yeah, and it also helps that I think we have Tavon Young coming back this year.
Tavon Young.
So we are definitely a lot more prepared for this situation. I think every year we kind of expect Jimmy Smith to miss a couple games, whether due to injury or suspension. So
Old Jimmy boy.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic, and that is, I don't really know how to say his name correctly, Kamalei Correa. He also goes by KC, so that's what I'm going to call him. He got traded to the Tennessee Titans,
Sucks for him.
Joining old defensive coordinator Dean Pease down Tennessee.
Dean Pease down Tennessee.
What do you think about the whole trade? We got a 6th-round draft pick from it.
I don't like it. I don't like getting rid of someone that's shown some really impressive flashes in the preseason and still very young, and potentially has a promising future. I mean, I'm not going to go to as far as to say it's like similar to a James Harrison situation where we cut him when he was, you know, young and on the come up, so to speak. But the process is that we went through for this is similar to James Harrison, kind of deeming people as expendable before they've really developed. I'd rather hold on to him rather than get a 6th-round pick. I mean, I'd rather hold on to him. He looks like he's shown flashes of having some promise, you know, growing into that position and growing as a player. So I think a 6th-round pick is really negligible. I don't think it really helps our team that much to get another 6th-round pick where we have someone that has shown those flashes. If he hadn't shown anything, then yeah, whatever. But I mean, he had a great game in the Hall of Fame game. Mm-hmm. They said he was looking good in practice. I think I recall reading in training camp. Most of those young linebackers, I think they were really liking the way that they were gelling together and looking. And I think having fresh pass rushers and linebackers and things like that is pivotal to success, as I've mentioned in past podcasts, when you look at teams like the New York Giants when they won the Super Bowl. I've alluded to that previously. I still maintain that. I just don't see why we're out there looking for 6. I mean, maybe the Titans, if the Titans inquired for us, it's a good trade for the Titans, I think. I think they're getting good value for a 6th-round pick. Say this guy does turn out to be, you know, maybe not a James Harrison, that'd be a bit of a stretch, but even a couple-time Pro Bowler for a 6th-round pick, I mean, that you'll take that all day. So yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I mean, what are we going to get for a 6th-round pick? I mean, unless we just hit it out of the park. And, I mean, you can't when you're going to make one of those trades, you have to assume that a 6th-round pick is going to be the value of a 6th-round pick. You can't assume that you're going to get a Tom Brady in the 6th round because that just isn't likely. So operating under the guidelines and the assumptions of what a 6th-round pick generally will translate to in the NFL, I don't like the deal.
Yeah. In a sense, I think I understand. We have so much depth on the linebacker position, and I think the Ravens are all on board to try to win the Super Bowl this year. One for Ozzie Newsome, and a lot of the other linebackers that we have are older. I think they're a little bit better than Casey, but I don't think we could have gotten any value from them. So I think one of the linebackers had to go regardless, and I think they're just trying to squeeze any value that they could. And I think they knew that Casey was probably the only one that they could get any kind of draft pick from. So, in my opinion, that's why they're trying to do it, is because I think they're all on board for this year, and they're making a push for the Super Bowl, for the playoffs, to make a real run. And it sucks because I'd rather of them kept Casey than someone like Zadarius Smith, even though he's played really well. I think Casey has a lot of upside. People say that his stats were not good his first couple years, but people forget that he played inside linebacker as soon as he got here, when he was traditionally an outside linebacker and a pass rusher. And as soon as we moved him to pass rush, like we did this preseason, you see that he can have a couple strip sacks and be very productive. So it sucks. I understand, because I think the Ravens are trying to keep 3 quarterbacks on the team, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And I think they're trying to find any way to create room and get, because they had to cut one anyway, so they're trying to get any value that they could out of at least one, like AC. So it sucks, but I kind of understand the move, though I would have probably just cut somebody else.
Yeah, I think he was not the person that you want to move for that.
But do you think we couldn't have gotten any value, or if we tried to cut or trade any other linebacker on our team that's not like a Terrell Suggs or Judon?
I think we should have cut another position. I mean, we're good. We have a lot of good young talent at linebacker.
But the Ravens usually keep 5 outside linebackers.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got the talent, why not keep a little bit extra and just go out of another
It's hard,
position?
man, because we have so many positions that we're trying to keep talent, because we don't, like, for example, our wide receivers, we don't know.
But
who
has had those kind of splash games like Correa at other positions that would be better to keep than him?
We have Grant, who is that one returner / wide receiver.
I'd rather cut him than cut Correa.
I agree. I would probably have gone the other way too, but I don't think people would have given us a 6th-round draft pick for someone like Grant.
I'd rather just 6th-round pick is like negligible.
I mean, Ozzie Newsome, I know it's his last year, but Ozzie Newsome lives and dies by the late-round picks. He's made a career off of picking up.
But you cannot. I mean, statistically, 6th-round picks are what they are. You cannot operate under the assumption that you're going to knock it out of the park with a 6th-round pick. You just can't. That's not long-term. That's not going to be sustainable.
But also, the Ravens have really built a career off of the mid to late rounds, and I think they probably could have gotten a 5th-round pick for Correa, because I think he's that good.
And Ozzie's going to be gone too. So
he's still going to be in the building and being a mentor and being there.
Yeah,
it's not like his opinion is going to mean nothing anymore. But I think it's kind of the Ravens' model, just to stock up on draft picks, and not even to use that draft pick, but use that as ammo to move up in the draft.
I just think there's a better way to go around it. I don't think you can operate under statistical anomalies.
All right, well, we'll move on to the next topic here, guys, and this is, should the Ravens keep 3 quarterbacks? RG3 has been playing pretty well this preseason, has looked like a starting caliber quarterback, in my opinion, and he's making a tough decision for the Ravens, especially with Lamar's first 3 games, throwing 40% of his passes, completing 40% of his passes, whether or not to keep RG3 on the team or not. So, do you think we should keep him, or do you think we should try to trade him, or do you think we should cut him?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. I think we should keep him.
Yeah.
As I've said before, when we've talked about this before, Joe's days are numbered. And someone that fits better into what the future, Lamar Jackson, Lightning Lamar,
Legless Lamar.
Lightning Lamar does is RG3 and 10. And he hasn't looked bad. As much as I crap on RG3 and may have gotten on him in the past and stuff like that, he has looked solid. I mean, granted, he's running with threes and things like that, but he looks like he has his confidence, which I think might be the most important thing of all with him. Because I mean, he's an athlete. He's got talent. You know, he's got a decent arm. I think with him is just having his poise and confidence back after being, you know, from team to team rattled with injury and things like that. But I think we do need to keep 3 quarterbacks. I think RG3 can be a very solid number 2 backup quarterback to Lamar moving forward.
Oh my God, here we go.
What?
Nothing, go ahead.
So I think for the time being, while Flacco is still on the team, we don't want to let him go because I think he'll be a good backup for Lamar for many years to come.
So say RG3 has a decent year, is our backup. He's only on a 1-year deal. So if he plays well, don't you think another team is going to offer him more money?
He's not going to see the field. We'll just keep him as a backup unless another team wants to take a risk on him without him getting out there with any playing time with ones.
Say Joe Flacco goes down the season. RG3 is going to be the one that goes into the game over Lamar Jackson.
No, dude. I think the fans would revolt if that happened.
The way I watch, RG3 played really well this preseason. I mean, he made hardly any mistakes. I think he played really, really well.
I think he played well too.
Lamar Jackson had a
hard on
lot
RG3.
of excitement, a lot of really exciting plays, but there was a lot of room to grow for Lamar Jackson. So
that's
this
contextual.
season, if and when Joe Flacco goes down, RG3 is more well equipped to take this team to the playoffs.
I disagree.
Than Lamar Jackson.
I disagree.
Lamar Jackson, first 3 games, threw only completed 40% of his passes.
But you got to look at the context as well. Look at what Lamar Jackson was going against. Game 1, you had admitted he's running for his life. That the offensive line didn't hold up. They didn't hold up much of the preseason.
But RG3
for Lamar.
was too.
But RG3 was running with a different squad. He's running with threes.
He's running with the threes.
He's running 3s on 3s, which is almost like 2 different teams. If you think about that, the 3s of the Ravens versus the 3s of the Bears, and then the 2s of the Ravens versus 2 of the Bears is almost like 2 different games because there's different players in at every
But
position.
RG3 was going
the dynamic
in
is
as
different.
the third quarterback.
What do you mean?
Last game, RG3 didn't get in until the 4th quarter.
What
Lamar Jackson played the first 3 quarters of the game.
But he's playing with 2s.
He's playing with the 1s.
Who?
Lamar Jackson, last game.
Yeah, but for how long? And
3 quarters. Joe Flacco didn't touch the field last game.
I know that, but what I'm trying to say is, like, you're trying to pile on the Lamar, and you're not willing to look at the context of everything.
What do you mean?
Okay. I don't even know if I want to waste my breath.
I don't
on
understand
this.
how right now in this specific moment in history, I understand Lamar's upside. Right now, RG3 is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
No.
He has experience in the league.
Bad experience.
Played phenomenal his rookie year.
Flash in a pan.
He looks good, man. I would be much more comfortable with RG3 taking over the team than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is obviously the future and obviously the starting quarterback, but he has so much to learn. He needs to learn how to slide because he is going to lose his legs, dude.
I like hearing you say that he's the future and he's obviously the starting quarterback.
In the future.
Can you say that again?
The Ravens drafted a first-round quarterback.
Yeah, they did.
He inevitably will be the starting quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he will be. You got that.
Whether he stays the starting quarterback is up to him, and he needs to learn.
He will be.
Until he loses his legs.
You bet your buckets on that.
But anyway, I think it's hard whether we should keep 3 quarterbacks or not because I really, really like the way RG3 has been playing. I think if we can get a really high draft pick or offensive line help in a trade, I think we should do it. Like if we can get a 5th or 4th round pick, that would be huge for us for next year. Excuse me.
I'm surprised you didn't say cut Lamar.
No, man, Lamar needs to learn, but he needs to sit on the bench this year.
No, dude, he's a gamer. You throw him in there, he's going to find a way to win. He's tough. He's a dog, man.
He's tough. Did you watch any of the games?
Of course I did, dude.
I have a feeling that you didn't.
Why would you say that? I'm a season ticket holder. Case.
Because Lamar Jackson literally did a backflip when he took a hit, and he doesn't know how to run out of bounds and or slide. And RG3
Tough.
even talked about this in an interview, how Lamar Jackson isn't going to take anyone's advice and he's going to have to learn for himself because he thinks he's that much better than everyone, which he might be athletically. But if he takes a hit by a linebacker, one Luke Kuechly hit is going to end that man's career.
Doug, Luke Kuechly's has so many concussions. Lamar will stiff arm him and he'll see birdies running around his head.
One Von Miller hit and that dude is dead.
Von Miller, dude, he'll push his hairline back even further off his head with a stiff arm to the
right
dome.
now, I would try to trade RG3 if we can for offensive line help and or a high draft pick. But if not, I think we keep him. I mean, we need to get Lamar reps anyway for future. But if we're really making a push for the playoffs in the Super Bowl this year, I think it's pretty important that we keep RG3 because it would make me weary for Lamar to carry a team. And when he does hit his first slump, I don't know how he's going to be able to manage that. So for this year specifically, I think that we should keep RG3 unless we get a crazy trade offer.
You're right that we keep him. You're wrong for the reasons. But typically, just like, as usual, I've had to educate you.
Okay, guys, let's move on to our first user-submitted question. This comes from Miguel Valdez.
Miguel!
Thank you so much, man. If anyone else is watching on YouTube or the regular podcast, be sure to leave a comment or a question down below, and we'll answer it live on air. And and you can get your question answered like Miguel. And Miguel asks, what excites you guys the most about this year's offense?
Thank you, Miguel. It's very kind of you to ask us a question for our opinion. I'll provide you with some good insight here, and then Cakes will proceed to vomit all over the microphone. So you can just listen to this and then just skip through to whatever's next on the show, and just skip fast forward through Cakes' take, just so you don't suffer any irreparable damage to your ears or your mental psyche or things like that, you know. But yeah, what I'm most excited about, I'm excited to see Alex Collins run this year. I think he's going to run all the way to a Pro Bowl. I think he's going to run for over 1,200 yards, have about 10 plus of them things in terms of touchdowns. I love the way he runs. He runs hard. He runs physical. Reminds me a little bit of a young Adrian Peterson just with the way that he runs. I'm not saying he's going to beat Adrian Peterson. He's one of the greatest of all time, but I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl season. That's my pick for what really excites me this year. I think he's going to bowl over people. I think he's going to provide some much needed balance to our offense, and going to provide another reason that Flacco is not going to have any excuses, because the running game will be there. It'll be intact. It'll be efficient. I'm going to say he's going to average about 4.5 yards a carry. I think he's going to have a great year, and I'm really excited to see that come through. And then for part 2 of your question about Judon taking the next step.
Do you see Matt Judon taking the next step this season and becoming the heir to Terrell Suggs?
I can read. Thank you.
The viewers didn't hear the question.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do the webcam. Poop.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, well, that's probably...
Audio only. I'll still upload to YouTube.
They don't want to see your ugly mug anyway.
They want to see yours.
What?
10,000 subs, the Ooker Dooker face reveal.
Nope. Anywho. So, yeah, Judon, this year, I don't know. I don't know that he's going to see the field enough to make that progression this year. I think he'll be more of a rotational piece a little bit. Because we have a lot of young, talented linebackers right now. And I think this year he might prove himself to become in line for a starter role next year. I think next year will probably be the big year to see what Judon's future with the organization really is going to be. I think this year there's too many pieces, and they're going to give a lot of guys some opportunities here and there, and some people are going to capitalize and take the most of them and get the hot hand, so to speak, going into next year to compete for kind of a every down starter role. And I see him having that opportunity. I don't see it progressing to the point where he's going to be the heir apparent to Terrell Suggs just off of this year alone. So just make sure everyone on Apple Podcasts, there is a button you can hit to fast forward like 15, 30 seconds. Hit that probably 5 to 7 times, I think. and then you should be able to get past, the malarkey that's about to be spewed here and continue listening. Hit the button now.
What excites me the most about this season is Joe Flacco.
My God.
And the reason for this is because he has had awful seasons since 2014. And now the team actually puts talent around the beast, the man, the myth, the elite legend, which is Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco. Joe. Ooks. Wake up, man. I'm going off on a tangent here. Joe Flacco. He's going to have such a good year this year. One, he's 2 years removed from his knee injury, 1 year removed from his back injury, finally fully healthy, looking great, looking terrific. He finally has some receivers around him. He hasn't had a receiver like Michael Crabtree since Anquan Bolden. It's just going to be a great season for the man, Joe Flacco. He's really going to be able to show this year why he is the $120 million man. They stripped all of his weapons after the Super Bowl and haven't given him any until this year. Michael Crabtree is going to be a stud. John Brown looking like a complete receiver, not just a speedster. He looks like a complete wide receiver. He had that beautiful catch in the end zone. And Willie Snead, I think, is going to be great for the slot. Joe Flacco is just going to be, and he's got Alex Collins in the backfield. His offensive line is coming back. Marshall Yanda is coming back. It's going to be a great season for Joe Flacco, and he excites me so much because he can finally show.
He excites you, doesn't he?
Can finally show the world.
You're pretty excited,
but
huh?
mostly you, that he is an elite quarterback in this league.
Yeah, you're pretty excited. Cakes can see it now, but the viewers can't see it. He has on his board to marry his fiance as one of his things to do. I crossed that out after hearing that disgusting, biased diatribe and crossed out the name of his fiance and put marry Joe Flacco, because it sounds like that's what you want to do here. It sounds like you're basically trying to beg him to be your partner for life. It sounds like you're in love. It sounds like you have a little bit of a crush, an obsession, so to speak. That wedding ring that you bought, are you sure that you don't want to rip that off your fiance's hands and send it in the mail to Joe? Are you sure?
If I could, I would.
I believe it.
Because Joe Flacco is that good of a quarterback, and you are going to see it this year. I can't wait to go on week after week after week and just show you how good of a quarterback in this league that Joe Flacco is.
Right. Yeah, I'll make sure I tell her to listen to this episode so she can hear that you picked Joe Flacco over her.
No, I said I wish I could, but I cannot.
Why can't you?
Because I'm committed.
But you wish you could. So really your heart is with Joe Flacco, but your physical being is with her, right?
Your heart is with Lamar Jackson.
No.
He could do nothing wrong in your eyes.
Sure he can.
How 1 to 10, how good did Lamar Jackson do this preseason?
Probably about a 9.3.
A 9.3, yeah. 40% completion rate.
93%. You got to look at the context, Cakes. You can't just...
But if he's not doing well in that situation, how do you expect him to do well with the ones?
Everything is not a macro situation,
And RG3 is doing great and even playing with worse players.
RG3 is not also asked to do much. He's running basic stuff.
Is RG3.
That's what I just said, RG3.
So is Lamar Jackson.
No, he's not. Lamar Jackson is airing that thing out. He's running. He's ducking. He's jiving. He's stiff arming.
But you know what? RG3 is sliding because he's not stupid and won't take a hit.
No, RG3 is sliding because he's made of tissue paper. Lamar Jackson is a brick house.
Okay.
Shout out to the Commodores. She's a brick.
I hope Lamar Jackson never gets hurt. I hope Lamar Jackson never gets hurt.
Yeah, you do.
But it's inevitable.
No, you hope he does.
No, I don't. I hope he is a great quarterback. I want nothing more than him to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
You're preying on Lamar's demise, dude.
But right now, he's not that quarterback. Until he proves me otherwise, he's not that guy.
You'll see, dude.
Okay, we'll see.
You'll see.
And to answer your second part of your question, do I think Matt Judon is going to take the next step this season, becoming the heir to Terrell Suggs? That's a big statement because Terrell Suggs is one of the greatest to do it.
King Ugly.
So I don't know if he'll be the heir to Terrell Suggs, but I definitely think Suggs is kind of grooming him to become the leader outside linebacker for the Ravens going forward whenever Suggs decides to hang up the cleats, so to speak. All right, guys, we're going to move on to, and thank you so much, Miguel, for the question. We're moving on to the last topic
Thanks,
of the
Miguel.
day.
Appreciate it.
And that is...
Hope your ears didn't bleed too bad. Hope you fast forwarded and heeded my advice.
And this is the last topic. This is extending the season. Do you think... what was that? Do you think that the regular season should be extended to 18 games, the preseason shortened to 2 games, have another bye week in there, and extend the whole season by 1 week?
No.
I like part of it. I like extending the season with 2 bye weeks. But I don't like the extra regular season games. I think the NFL has kind of dominated sports for a long time, and it's kind of like a, if it's not broke, don't fix it thing for me. I think we like our football the way it is for the most part. If you can extend the season a little bit longer, I think that's kind of a good thing because people like live and die for NFL season. So if you can extend that without watering down the product by adding more games, I think that's a good thing. Just look at other sports, and I enjoy both of these sports, basketball and baseball, the other 2 major dominant sports in the sports world. I do enjoy both of them, but I really don't watch much until it's playoff time because it's too much. It saturates the product. I think it hurts the demand. I think it hurts sales. Because people in today's world are a lot more busy. Like there's a lot more things that people have to do on a daily basis. Whereas in the old days, you came home, you sat, you had no internet, you had no TV. People are connected. They're working 24/7, whether it be trying to do something like this, to build something on the side or what have you. People are more busy. And I think in a result of that, also, with the amount of content that's available right now, there's so many choices and there's so many things that people string themselves out with to watch and to intake, so to speak. You know what I mean? Whether it be TV shows or things like that, people just simply won't have the time to really. And if you cannot watch it all, I think it affects your ability to be as passionate and as fanatical about the sport. I've experienced this recently with MMA. MMA has gotten to the point where they're doing fights every weekend. And before they did that, when they were doing 20 shows a year or so, I didn't miss a show. I was watching every show. I was watching every interview of the fighters, everything like that. I knew everything that was going on in the world of MMA. But it's grown so much and it's gotten to the point where there's so much going on, I can't follow it. And I've noticed it affects my ability to get excited and things for that because before you're a part of everything, you're involved, you're engaged, and that makes it more fun and it helps it build it up and get you more excited and able to really pour more emotion into the process or into the act of watching and taking sports. So I think that would be a bad idea to extend. I mean, 2 games might be negligible, you know what I mean, if they extended to 18. But another reason is just the health concerns too. I mean, these guys barely can make it through 16 games as it is. Like, there's so many injuries every year. And there's just not last year or the year before, something like that, where like 10 starting quarterbacks or something crazy were gone, like star players in the league. And that hurts the league's ability to make money and to draw in viewership too, because if the Colts lose their Andrew Luck, the Colts fans that typically maybe have been super excited or things like that, they're saying season's a wash. Why do I even need to come out to the games anymore? Watch, this season's over. You know what I mean? So I think that is another thing too, the safety of the players and things like that, because they can barely make it through a season as it is. So I think on multiple levels, it's bad. I think more bye weeks would be good because it gives people more time to recover. It's better for their health, and it extends the season without forcing people to have to watch to be able to follow and be a fan of the product, which I think is key because, like I said, I do enjoy basketball and baseball a lot, actually. I like them both a lot. And I like football a lot too, but if football had 162 games, my passion or what have you, my excitement for it would ultimately diminish because there's no way that I could keep up with it. There's just not enough time.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly with your statement. I don't want football to become a thing where I don't care about every individual game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love football, is because
Every game's live or die, or do or die.
I mean, I love football because I will make it a point to watch every single game in the season, and I am like torn apart when I can't watch a game because I just love football that much.
And another thing is the not to, well, I guess not to cut, I am cutting you off to cut you off. One last thought you brought into my head. The Sunday thing too. People dedicate their Sundays to church and football, and the fact that when they take these games and they do these Thursday night games, I'm more likely to miss those than the others because that's become a part of it too. People have been able to say in that certain time of the year, okay, my Sundays are going to be dedicated to football,
right.
And that helps with that engagement as well.
Yeah, and I think preseason, people obviously don't like watching preseason, but I think it is important to look at your younger players and see how they're going to perform in the game and decide who's going to be on the team. I think if they are going to extend the season by 18 games, you definitely need more than 53 players on a roster. You need to have that wiggle room for those people that are injured, or it's just such a longer season. Even just 2 games, I think, is going to be very taxing on people. I like the idea of two bye weeks. Would definitely help. I think even if they don't extend the season, I think having 2 bye weeks would be beneficial. Just extend it by 1 week. I think it'd be super important and crazy beneficial for the whole league and the players and the NFL as a whole. I think the NFL is doing this strictly to try to make more money, which obviously that's the point of a business, to make money. I get it, but I think it's short-term thinking.
I do too.
I think in the long run you'll make more money up front, but I think it'll dilute, like you said, more games, each one becomes that much less important, even if it is only 2 more games in the season. And I don't know. I like the NFL structure, how it is, but again, like you said, I'm not opposed to adding another bye week to allow players to rest for one more week throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think extending the season is fine. I think people would actually like that because when it's football season, there's an excitement that comes. People say all the time how, towards the end of summer, they're ready for fall, they're ready for football, they're ready for all that stuff. And I think extending the season doesn't diminish anything, but I think extending it and adding more games does. Now, if they were to make like football every other week, I don't necessarily think that would hurt the product. Now, if you make it every 2 weeks, it gets to a point where people just kind of forget about things because, as you know, we live in kind of a prisoner of the moment world where everything's kind of like on a 24-hour news cycle and it's what have you done for me lately type thing. I think 2 weeks, I think if there was like 1 on, 1 off, I think that would still work, but anything after that, you might be pushing it. But I think to an extent, extending the season doesn't hurt as long as you don't add those games that devalue the importance of every game.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for joining us, listening to us, and following us. If you guys are listening, be sure to subscribe. We would appreciate that.
Leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts.
And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously not watching, but listening on YouTube, go in the comment section below and leave us a question for next week's podcast.
And mash that subscribe button.
All right, thanks so much, guys. My name is Cakes Mitchell.